Erik, that's another clean sheet, and it was a day where the defenders really seemed to thrive. How pleased are you with the performance, and particularly the defenders' performances?
We defend with 11, so I'm happy with all of the pitch, how they do it. But a part of it, defending the box, when the pressing get beaten, that's a part of it, and they do it well. And we have a massive keeper. He's really composed, really controlled. So he's really had confidence, let it come, and he makes some great saves. But when I see how the back four is defending the box, really good, cooperating really well, closing gaps, supporting each other, covering each other, and go for the battles. Give everything in battles, and that's what they're doing, and that gives a good spirit and a fight to the team.
One of those members, Diogo Dalot, has had a really good season. Is it more impressive the way he's performed, given that he's not had a rest, he has started every game?
Yes, I think he's developing quite well. From the start, I think he could see he has his power, he has his strength, his physical power, what he can bring in his attacking game. But I think he is progressing game from game in the defending part as well, and finding his position, anticipation, cooperation in the back four, cooperating with his winger. So he makes really good progress, and I'm happy with that.
Erik, there's a perception in Spain that David De Gea can't play with his feet, and that's why he doesn't get picked for Spain. But when you see performances like that today, is there a better goalkeeper? I mean, he basically won the match for you with those saves at the end.
And so that everyone has his own opinion on it and his own philosophy. For me, his first, from a goalkeeper, is you have to protect the goal. So you make sure you don't concede goals. And in that fact, he's magnificent. And on the feet, for me, he has the capabilities as well. And I think when you see this season, he is progressing from game to game in that part. And it has to do not only with the keeper, it has also to do with the one in front. And how do you give the keeper, how do you give him the options to bring passes in? Because when they don't run free or in the wrong moment or in the wrong positions, then he doesn't have the options to pass around. But I'm convinced he can do it, and I think the games so far they proved that, and I think he will improve from game to game in that part.
He still has a year after this if you take the option, but his contract expires at the end of the season. Is that something that you want to get sorted out? Do you want him to stay here as your goalkeeper?
What we said, this issue about negotiating from the whole squad, we said first we're focusing in this part of the season on the games, and when we're coming to an end of this part of this block, we go into World Cup, obviously, and of course we have to think about that. And in the background, of course, we have our strategies, how to deal with it. But it's quite clear, and I already emphasized it several times, I'm really happy with David. He's a great goalkeeper. He's only 31, and he's fit. He can progress even more. He was already impressive good for Man United, and I think he will do in the future as well.
Jamie. On a similar note, Erik, Rashford's 25 tomorrow, still a very good man. Do you think he has the tools to, he's obviously a very good player now, don't get me wrong, but do you think he has the tools to be like an elite striker if he continues the way he's going?
I think he is. When you, before your 25th already scored the marker 100 goals, and I think you are already there, but I think don't be satisfied with that. And I think he wants, in the end, it's about how many trophies you win with your team, with your club, and I think he can develop his game even more. When you see now he makes 2 headers, for instance, and we worked a lot of that. I notified it from the start. His heading has to improve, and he worked on it, and you see what's happening. And there's also, I think, mental, I think he's much more consistent and reliable and resilient. So I'm really happy with the progress. So I think for me, he's already massive, a great player, but there's still a lot of room for improvement, and where it ends, I don't know, but it will be fantastic. It will be a fantastic career, I'm sure.
James.
Hi, Erik. You're probably aware of what Pep said about you and United on Friday. Are you aware of that?
I've read.
What did you we saw different qualities of your team today, fighting at the end, some really good football first half. What do you think when you hear someone like Pep say that?
Yeah, it's a nice compliment, but I also see still a lot of room for improvement in our game, and we have to, if we want to compete for the top 4 positions, then we have to improve. For instance, first half, I think we have to dominate more on the ball, to bring ourselves in better positions between the lines. When you see second half, definitely, we were, I think, quite poor in possession. There was a lot of space on the pitch, and we give the ball too easy away. Many wrong decisions. We go direct for goal instead of keeping the ball. You have to outplay them. When you get so much space, you have to make that second goal, because then games going to be more easier. But I think it's also a skill from a team, if it's necessary, to protect your box, to survive an opponent who come and go for the equalizer, and definitely there's a skill. So there are some positives, but also still a lot of negatives in our game, and we have to see that. So analyze, and we have to work on that.
Can I just check what Anthony's injury is, please? Sorry.
Injury.
Anthony's injury.
Anthony Dos Santos. Yeah. Today he was not. He could not play. I don't think it's a huge problem. I think in a couple of days he can recover. So I hope he will be available for Thursday in Sociedad.
What part of his body is it?
Pardon?
What part of his body is it?
His leg.
His leg.
Marcus has been on the telly after the game saying that part of the reason he struggled last season, or he thought he struggled, was maybe a mental thing rather than a physical thing. Is that something that you've had to work with him at all to get him back into this form?
Yeah, I noticed as well, and I work with him that as well. And I started with, come to train and feel happy, and I love and smile, enjoy to play football, and then work, invest, on your capabilities, but also your likeness. For instance, heading, and then you will see, or when you feel the progress, it stimulates you, it motivates you to get even better, and. Now he's scoring goals. He's more happy. You see the positive in Carrington when he's coming in, but I think it counts for a lot of players from us, and that positive atmosphere. Players can progress even more.
Okay, and last two, Carl, Paul.
Mr. Tenor, can I talk about Harry Maguire's performance today? He's once again playing in right centre back, where he spent the majority of his career playing on the left side. How is that adjustment going, and how are you helping him adjust to this new role?
It's of course not that easy when you are when you're injury, and then you just back in the team training, and then so now drop out to centre halves, and all of a sudden he has to come in. He had only 45 minutes, and especially I think the end of the game, when the opponent makes press on us, and then you have to be really consistent in your performance. But I think the last 20 minutes were tough for him, and he survived it with his back four. I think he had a presence of leadership there. I think he had a lot of balls away. He had a lot of real good clearances there. He was important in organisation there. He showed really confidence there, and I was really happy to see that performance for Harry. But of course also his contribution to the team, and that was one of the reasons we had another clean sheet.
Will you continue with him at the right rather than moving back over to the left? Is now the aim he's always going to be on the right?
I know he can do both, but what I've seen him, I think he's for me he's better on the right, huh? And also in pre-season he played really good games on the right side. If it's necessary we can play him left, but we have also other good options who can play left centre half.
Paul.
Erik, can you just explain the impact that Casemiro has had on your team and in the dressing room as well?
I call him it's the cement between the stones. Yes, is that good?
Cement, yeah.
Cement between the stones. I think he's in and out of possession, and he makes such a difference to a team. He gives a team dominating. He gives a team that the opportunity to dominate the game in and out of position, because he can read the game and he makes the right decisions. He's pointing players in the right position. He's anticipating in and out of position, and finally he sees also the pass between the lines. But for me was one of the highlights from this game, the brilliant opening from him to Dalot in the first half, and so he's a top player, and I'm really happy to have him here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.